Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you again.
Nice to see
After-
you. I'm very excited about today. I'm learning so much from such a different perspective. This is very exciting for me. When I was in college, I took a course called The Bible as Literature. And it was a good course for me because it put a lot of things in perspective about the culture during the time the Bible was really flourishing, and people were looking for something, but it talked about the allegory and the stories and how important the stories are. And of course, the professor of the Bible as literature was, so it's not literal, just go with the stories, the history. So I'm really interested to continue in this vein of Isa or Jesus's life and where
Mhm.
that goes and the Quran's perspective. So thank
Quranic
you. Thank
perspective.
you for this. Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. So last time we stopped at Miriam encountered her hometown, her people,
Right.
and then Jesus had to tell his people because she said she pointed to him, like basically, I raised him, I took care of him, and this is his mission now. So she's done with hers. She said she pointed to him. And we said, those rabbis and the elders, who knows? The Quran doesn't even want to label them.
Mhm.
It just said the people around her. And I love how the Quran doesn't like to label usually, so that we can let you just like take the lesson
Mm.
and not point fingers at the people. So she pointed to him, and he was just telling them whom he is and what's his mission. And I think that's where we stopped. So I
Yeah.
can share again the document and review quickly what he said. So, yeah, I remember we stopped here where he told the, like, that's when Miriam basically was receiving all that information from the previous verses. And she was told that this person will speak in prep. And I always like to focus on the word prep, just like when we send our kids to prep school before college. So that shows you that Jesus started to speak in the prep time. But the prep time here, when they were giving the information to Miriam, it was said like he will be learning the book, which is, I call it the book of life or the Akashic records, whatever, the wisdom, the Torah, and also Al Injil. So basically, all of that will be given to Isa. Then the verses that we covered last time, and we stopped here talking a lot about what he was teaching them on 49 and 50. I remember saying, he is saying, I am a messenger to Beni Israel, known as children of Israel. And he was teaching, I think, like we talked about, this sign of him is the first thing is co-creating, teaching people how to create, like how you create whatever you want, or call it co-create because we are not source energy, but we are part of it. Also, he talks about healing. We said first thing is co-creating, second thing is healing. And just going a quick overview before we continue. And the third thing was remote viewing.
Mhm.
And everybody now is basically going to learn about co-creation, manifestation, healing. I think those teachings are coming back and surfacing. On verse 50 and 51, I focused on he came to make lawful for people what was forbidden to them. And in my opinion, what was forbidden was not food, because a lot of people, they just go to, oh, it was the forbidden food. No, because he's speaking here about the Torah, and this is the context of the Torah. So the Torah came with the good teaching to the mass, but then some people took that good teaching and they kept it to themselves. Some pages were taken, some information was taken away. So Isa came down to bring that back, what was forbidden for them. I call it forbidden knowledge. And now everything is coming back to surface anyway. So the last verse I remember, we stopped at it and I highlighted in blue because I know that's where I stopped. But at the same time, this is going to be a verse that we're going to come back to it when we study today Isa's death. So we'll continue with the same chapter, which is now segment 3 from the same chapter, Al-Imran. Al-Imran is just the family of Imran, which is the family of Miriam, Zechariah, her mother, all of them. So we see like when Isa encountered people and he started to teach them the main things like we mentioned. So that took some time. And now we're getting to the point where he started to see those who are not accepting his teachings.
Mm.
And I love how it says here, when Isa sensed truth. So the word ahassa in Arabic means sense. So you see how they used to be very intuitive and they use their feelings more than collecting information or sending spies. He just felt in them. What did he feel? He felt al-kufr. And kufr means those who want to cover the truth or the truth covering. So when he felt there are people that are not happy with him, bringing back the forbidden knowledge, okay? And he felt that in them. So now he's telling people, he said, who are my supporters? Ilallah. He is saying, who are my supporters to Allah? So he's trying to remind people, you're not here to support anyone who's in control. You need to support yourself that you're agent of Allah. And we are here trying our journey back to Allah, the return to Allah, to remember whom you are. You're able to co-create, you're able to remote view, you're able to heal, so you're not a victim, okay? And you cannot accept control. That's what I can feel as I read those verses.
Mm.
So Al-Hawariyun, okay, the disciples, I translated the disciples because that's what known to the word, but the Arabic word is very deep meaning. It comes from hiwar. Hiwar is a dialogue. So those who had a dialogue with him means they were open to learn from him first.
Mm.
They became the disciples. So when you're not open and you're closed-minded, when someone comes with something new to you, but could be the truth that was covered by others, you may just say, no, I don't want this. I'm happy in my little box.
Mm-hmm.
But the disciples that became later on disciples, the Quran is calling them the Hawariyun. Hawari is someone who can engage in a dialogue
Mm.
with you. They said, we are Ansarullah. Because of having a dialogue and openness, they could feel that this man is bringing truth. And they said, Amanna billah. We have faith. We have faith. And on top of that, they are saying, Washhad bi anna Muslimun, and witness that we are submitters. You see the word Muslim here? This is before Muhammad came. This is before the Quran. So the Quran is saying anyone who submits is a Muslim. So I didn't want to keep it witness that we are Muslims, so I just don't confuse people, but really they're saying we are Muslims. So you can see that 600 years before Muhammad came, Jesus is asking people to be a Muslim. Like they say, you're a Muslim. Well, Muslim really means you're in peace and you submit and you're an agent of God that we call in Islam Allah.
Mm.
Now, let's see what they're going to say, these disciples. They say, Rabbana. So you see the disciples, they say, our Rabb. We have had faith in what you have caused to descend. Okay. What you have caused to descend. Okay, it's caused to descend. And we have followed the messenger, who is Isa here. So we have followed the messenger. So record us, okay, record us where? In the book of life, in the Akashic records. So record us with the witnesses that we did witness Isa doing his purpose and his message and gave his message to us. And then the Quran, of course, like the Quran skips to the next scene. It says, and they deceived those, who are covering the truth. And they deceived, and Allah deceived. But Allah is the good possibility of the deceivers. Basically, they thought they are covering the truth, but we will see where this verse is going to take us. And this is really comes up. I understood this verse much better when I go to the verse, which in another chapter about crucifixion. So I'm not going to do it today because I just wanted to follow the flow of this chapter. But we'll get back to it later. So now we see the Quran is jumping to tell Isa what you felt is right, basically. So I'm going to save you. When Allah communicated, "O Isa, I am your fulfiller." So I'm the one who sent you, basically, and I can see like your mission is fulfilled. So I am your fulfiller. Like basically it's about time to die. And your elevator to me, and your refiner from those who covered the truth. So you see where it comes? Because those who covered the truth are planning a plot for Isa, which we'll see in detail when we get to the chapter of crucifixion. And it's not what it's in the Bible, in the current Bible. It's a little different. We'll get to it next week. And I am making those who followed you above those who covered the truth. So like we say all the time, the truth will always prevail.
Yeah.
Until the period of determination. And I spoke a little bit about that period yesterday in the workshop, which is the period of the transition. Like when you go into the transition center, when you die, that's where you see what's going on. So, and then it continues and it says, then to me is you all's return. So at the end of the day, we all gonna die. We all gonna return. So I judge between you regarding about what you used to dispute. So we're gonna go to the transition center and we're gonna see the truth, okay? So we'll see. And I hope people don't take this word, I judge, like Allah is someone sitting on a chair and he's going to look at people and I'm in a courtroom, you're going to do. No, we will see it. We will see it because in the next chapter that I'm going to see, it shows the transition center of Isa and the disciples and those who covered the truth. And that's what I mentioned yesterday. What happens when we die, each one in person, and they go to their own life review, and then also the life review of the collective. I touched in that a little. In verse 56, so we continue the story, as for those who covered the truth, so I purify them. So they have to go through a process of purification with a severe purification. So people will say, what do you mean? Yes, just like water, when it is not clean, we put the water in so many machinery and purification process. In fact, the word adab in the Quran also appears about talking about water. There is a verse that says, Hada adbun furat. It's talking about pure water versus the salty water. So here, these people who covered the truth, they were doing something not right, covering the truth that the humanity need. So basically, they're going to need purification. This purification, I call it, goes through suffering. Okay? But they have to pay for it. There is no consequences. If you do something good, you're going to live the consequences of the good. If you choose something else, you just have to learn your lesson. So you have to pay for the consequences. You're going to see it. You're going to have consequences. And where do you see the consequences? In this immediate life or another one, but you're going to have to see the consequences. and they have no supporters because the main supporter really is when you align with your source. Once you get out of alignment, you're going to suffer. Even if you're thinking you're making money or making a good life by controlling others, but deep down you suffer, you're out of alignment. So I love how the Quran mentions we're going to have to purify them. But for those who have faith, we're talking about the disciples, and did good, righteous deeds. So, what are we going to do them? Fulfill, the same word, fulfill. So, we will fulfill, so it fulfills their rewards. So when you come and you have faith in your purpose or your soul plan, and you're a good agent, you're helping expanding consciousness, helping Earth also to evolve, and we evolve in a good way all together, of course we're going to have a reward. That's how life is. So you do good, you get good consequences. You choose something else, you're just going to have to pay for it. And Allah, when we say Allah, لا يحب الظالمين, here Allah does not love the oppressors. Because if if the universal laws are with the oppressors, so we're not expanding, we're just like, but it's the opposite. God is love, and love likes others to love each other, not oppress them. I don't know if I want to stop here, let you say what you have in mind.
Just give me a second so I can make sure I understand what we're doing. When we talked about this in the workshop too, when it talks about a purification
Mm-hmm.
and that idea of you either pay in this lifetime because your quality of consciousness is low enough that you're going to not have a very good life
Yeah.
or relationships or whatever, or you'll pay later. And you're talking about the transition area, but I'm wrestling with that word pay. You're going to pay because what you talked about in the workshop was the fact that it's just perhaps even just a resting place or a period of assessment so that you will be allowed to have a really clear look at what your actions were.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I don't think the Quran said pay. Maybe it just came out of my word because we're so used to say, to
yeah,
even our kids, you're going to pay for
yeah,
it. So, but really, the Quran is saying because it doesn't love the behavior, so they're going to get purification.
yeah,
And purification, either they come back to this life and learn the lesson, or if it's very severe, like we said in the workshop,
right.
that's something different. Then they're going to need a different virtual reality where they're going to have to rest, and
Yeah, I
then they
think you
can.
called it like a rehab
A
center
rehab center,
where
yes.
they can have time to reflect,
to
that.
to just like sleep through it for a while.
Yeah,
You see how even us in this reality, when we are out of alignment and we get sick and all of that, we get diseases, what do we need? We just need to go to sleep.
right, right, right.
Even in this virtual reality, we need the sleeping. So everywhere when you are out of alignment, you just need to sleep. And sleep is basically getting back to source.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was just the one sticking point was that word
Yes,
pay
yeah.
came up, and I thought,
Just the
well,
word
that
pay is not a Quranic word, if you
right,
see.
because that implies punishment, and I don't
No,
think
I
what we're
don't.
talking about is punishment. So,
No,
yeah,
I don't think SOS want to punish as much as SOS want people to learn.
yeah, yeah,
And we just use the word pay. As a mother, I use it with my kids all the time when they don't
yeah,
learn their lesson. Okay, you don't pick up after yourself when you eat. Tomorrow, I'm not cooking dinner. So they have to
yeah,
pay for it.
right.
So,
Okay,
but I don't
thank
mean
you.
it by punishment. You look how much we love our children.
Yeah,
And no matter what they get out of order, we may create some way where you want them to learn,
right,
but you never hate them when they
right, right, right.
come, no matter what your child does.
Yeah,
When they come knocking at your door that they need you, what do? You close the door?
yeah,
You open the door with love.
right. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was my little place where I thought, well, there's that whole biblical concept of punishment and
Oh,
hellfire
no, I
and all
never
that. And it's
agreed
just
with
like,
the concept of punishment.
yeah.
I mean,
And
if you go now to the Quran, the word adab, they translate it as punishment. And I'm going to be maybe the first translation that puts it purification. But I am not getting it from my mind. The
right.
word adab in the Quran appears about pure water, and they
Uh-huh.
translate it in the verse that talks about water. They translate it pure water, not punishment water.
Right.
So why, when you see it with people, you switch it to punishment? It's the
Punishment. Yeah.
same word.
Yeah. Here we go
But
back to the youth thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
but in the process of purification, there is always some type of suffering for those who are still not getting the point. Your
Right. Well,
child is not getting the point why your mother is doing this.
yeah. It
But
occurs
when
to
they
me.
become moms,
Yeah. They'll
guess
get
what
it.
they said? Oh, we don't know how my mom had to did it.
Yeah. Well, it occurs to me for like a timeout for children where you
Yes.
just go sit and relax and think about things for a while. And also that idea of your soul plan and looking at what you did while
Yeah.
you were in physical reality, and maybe just more time to, and maybe the purification is that you need to delve into that and really look at what you did and what was going on with you when you were in that reality. So you have so that you're given time to assess that.
Yeah. That's what the period of determination, they usually translate it as day of judgment. I call it the period of determination, not period of judgment.
Right,
Because in that period, you're trying to determine what was a right choice you made and which is good, you learn from it. And also, what did you learn from your bad choices?
right, right, right,
And then you determine what's your next soul plan.
right.
But if you're not ready for any of that, go to sleep, go time out,
Yeah, it's
go
like a
to
time,
rehab.
it's like a time to breathe.
Yeah, take your
Yeah,
time. And you're going to see, I love how the Quran brought the transition center of Jesus. And that's why I tell people, you keep telling us like there is only one day of judgment when we all die, we all dead, we all gather. All of that concept of the Bible or the traditional, it's not clicking in my mind. But we'll see it. So we'll continue. We're at verse 58, where it says that we recited to you from the signs and the wise reminder. So, which is the wise reminder here? It's talking about this teaching of the Quran is just a reminder of the truth that had happened and was covered as well. And then the verse 59, it says the parable of Isa with Allah is just like the parable of Adam. It created him from dust, then communicated to him, be so he is. And this, I put it in green. That will be my next project. So we may do it together, Leslie, and we may get another one. Is like talking about how the history of Adam. Adam is like the beginning of the Homo sapien or the expansion of consciousness from what was before the Homo sapiens. So there was a jump and an expansion in consciousness. Same thing with Isa. Isa is just an expansion of consciousness. And we said that about Maryam, how she was an expansion of consciousness. In verse 60, it says, this is the truth. So do not be of the uncertain ones. So this is really the truth of the story of Isa. And like I said, I always look at the Quran as channeled information to Muhammad. So I'm taking it like, okay, let's dive in to this truth and see if we find it, in other places. 61, and if anyone disputes with you about it, and that's what I'm trying to find with people that are studying history, Bible, archaeology, whatever. Let's get together and try to see that because the Quran is saying this is the truth. And if anyone disputes you about it, after what came to you of knowledge, okay, so say, let's call our built ones. The word built ones means those who spend time and they are, in a way, they were built in looking for information about this matter. So let's call ours and yours Nisa'ana wa Nisa'akum, okay? And also, like when we say build ones like those who are more advantaged versus those who are less advantaged, let's call all of them. And then what should we do? Then we renounce, so we make the distancing of Allah on the liars. So, what does it mean, this verse to me? And I'm saying to me, what I hear from it is let's all get together. And then we can distance the liars. People usually translate la'na as curse. And when I digged into that word, no different than adab, it doesn't mean curse. It means just distance yourself from that information or from the liars so that you don't give it energy. And then it starts to dissipate from the collective and says, indeed, this is truly the true story. And where is nothing of a God except Allah. So there is no God except one God. There is one truth. There is one God. But if they turn away, okay, so basically it comes, you're the messenger, it's none of your business, and God knows the corruptors. So leave it up to source. And now, when I talked about the transition center, that's in another chapter, but I wanted to bring it because we are in that topic. I'm an agent and you are an agent. And when Allah said, "O Isa, son of Maryam, did you say to the people, take me and my mother as gods apart from Allah?" So he is in the transition center and he's being in a review. He said, "Glory be to you. It is not for me to say what I have no right to. Had I said it, then you would certainly have known it. You know what is in myself, and I don't know what is in yourself. Indeed, you are the knower of the unseen." And it continues, it says, "I said to them only what you commanded me, that you shall be agents of Allah, my Rabb, and your Rabb. And I was a witness over them while I was among them. So when you took me to yourself, you were the watcher over them, and you are witness over everything. If you purify them, so indeed they are your agents. And if you forgive them, you are indeed the Almighty and the Wise." So in these three verses, what I see, it takes back to what I said. I'm going to get back to it here, to this verse. So Isa came to tell people, I am an agent of Allah. My Allah, your Allah, my source is your source. We are all agents, and that's the path. And then he detailed the path by teaching them basically remote viewing and everything he did. That's the path. We are all agents, we are all co-creators, and we can all be like living in harmony and in alignment with source and with each other, loving, caring, compassion, whatever. But when he died and he's in his transition center, he is saying, I never told anybody that I am God. I just said I'm an agent. And that's all I told them. So if now it's like basically my purpose, my mission is over, but whoever doesn't take that message, it's not upon me. It's you and them. But I love how he said, if you purify them, so indeed they are your agent. So you see how every ascended master that I studied in my own journey, they always refer to the point, me and my source directly, and they cannot control anyone, and they leave everyone else with the source directly. And that's how it ended his transition center. That's all what the Quran said about it. So I have to stop here, take your comments, and then see what comes to your mind.
Yeah. So one of the things that's interesting is there will always be levels of consciousness in this reality, in this material world. And the interesting thing to me was if this is going on, you've said what you came to say, you've told people it's all possible for all of you, we're no different, it's not some
Mhm.
crazy miracle. It's you are capable of this sort of relationship with source or with consciousness or with Allah or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then if the people are fearful is how I interpret that, and they shrink away from that
Mm-hmm.
and continue on whatever path, that idea of just don't worry about it. It's their path.
Mm-hmm.
You've done what you came to do. Don't worry about it. It's their path. You've given the information. Distance yourself. I thought that was really interesting. So there's so many times in life when we're embroiled and caught up in something with somebody that we see as, somehow we're perceiving them as, this is all wrong and it shouldn't be that way. And how come they're doing this? That idea of just rest from that, do what you're here to do,
Mm-hmm.
and distance yourself from the rest and understand that they're doing what they're doing, and you're not going to change it with your own, by, what do I want to say, by sullying or darkening your own energy with what's going on there. You're not going to change it. So just keep connected to your source, keep doing what you know you're here to do, keep growing, keep on your path. And don't worry about that other path so much. It's not yours to do. I thought that
Exactly.
was really interesting because
Interesting. Yeah.
I think I mean, we talked before. I think it's a daily life experience where one lets oneself get completely tied up in this other stuff, and as we were saying, it pulls you away from source. Because you just like, oh, the cloud is on you, and you can't see and you can't, and then that letting is like, okay, I can't change that. I can
Yeah.
only change me.
Me.
Yeah. And
And I can only do me. And that's
yeah,
what I loved about when Jesus in that transition center, where, you know, basically there must have been a collective here review. Did you tell them you're God? He's saying, I never said so. And that's how people perceive those masters or messengers that look at them. Their big thing where you lose yourself.
yeah,
So Isa is saying, no, I was teaching them that my Rabb is your Rabb, and this is what you can do anyway.
yeah,
But if they took me as a God, that's on them.
yeah.
And
And
for
it's
me, this is very powerful. It just to remind anyone, I am not a Muhammadi. Like some people just tell me, but Muhammad said, I say like, okay, I am not a Muhammadi. I am me. I have my connection. So maybe this information is not true, or even if it's true, I need time for it. And I am not a Isa or a Jesus. Everyone is himself, like you said, at his own level of evolution.
right,
So
right.
don't take anyone as God.
Well,
Just
I think
connect with your own source.
yeah, I think that's the fear in us that does that, that you need to identify some bigger thing that you can
Yeah.
say, oh, well, I'm not responsible. I don't, you know, this
So
is
and so
happening.
said it. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
lots of people take, and that bothers me even in spiritual community now or non-spiritual. Non-spiritual, they're looking, but you don't know so and so. Okay, who is that so and so? Oh, he's the top this.
yeah,
Okay, he is top in his field. But when it comes to my heart is connected to source.
right,
Okay, I may admire him. Let's say I'm a math professor. I would admire someone higher than me in teaching math, and I go learn from him how to teach math. And I take that. But when it comes to something, my heart and source, no matter what higher spiritual being is, I learn from them, yes, but I cannot give them the authority to be above
right.
God.
I think it's to me it's a level of, for lack of a better word, it's a level of immaturity where a person still needs a parent, disciplinarian, a strict person who's going to keep them in line because they're not at a level where they can apply those things to themselves and understand
Mhm.
what Risa was trying to say is like you have all these abilities. It's all you. It's
It's
okay.
you.
And
Yeah.
people, I just think most of us cannot cope with that. We need to have we were saying, a smaller box to be in, where the edges are defined, and we know that if we do X, then Y is going to happen right then. It's like,
Mm.
and also that abnegation or denial of accountability, personal accountability, gets to go out the window because there's a rule maker, and you're going to be punished, and you're going to be, and so you don't need to be accountable, because all you have to do is go, oh, I'm sorry, and then it's all forgiven. And I just don't see that that works that way. I'm looking for that connection, that for people to understand a much bigger connection, and
Oh,
to
yeah.
understand that your daily actions, you're accountable for them.
I mean, I can end this with a metaphor, and maybe that can help the listener. The source, look at it as a sun, okay? The sun, the shiny sun, the source. God is like a metaphor sun. You're away from that sun, and if you are away from that sun, you have the same characteristics, same
Right,
thing. So if you activate those attributes within you, you will never fall into be a victim of anyone.
right,
You know you're part of it. You're part of source. So you have the powers and you can have the abundance. If sun is abundance of light, you have the abundance in
mhm,
any area you want to pursue. Abundance in wealth, abundance in knowledge, abundance in whatever you want to pursue. And that's what really Jesus came to remind us. Like, I'm an agent and you're an agent. I'm an agent to my up and is your up. Just connect to it.
right, right.
And
Yeah.
he
So,
repeated that in his life and in his transition center. You remember the first verse that we saw was when he was alive, he said, this is what my mission is. Then in the transition center, he is repeating it like, hey, I lived with it and I died with it.
yeah, and it didn't change, and here I am. Yeah.
Anyway, it was
Yeah.
nice gathering again. I love when we gather, just going back a history and learn from them. These
Mhm.
figures, they existed in the history. We're just trying to brush off some of the stuff that just didn't resonate.
Right, right. Yeah, I love the ability to look a little more deeply and to try to understand, or to further understand, who we are, and the role that playing small and being fearful plays in our lives, and the limitations that that puts on humanity as a whole, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about time really to start to change the collective, but you can only change the collective by changing the self.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leslie. See you
Thank
next
you.
week.
Thank you, Fatima. It was wonderful as always.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.